Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really mind-bending conversation between authors Saul Luckman and Adrian Gregory. We're going to unpack their pretty radical way of looking at our world, our own minds, and the incredible power that we might just be holding inside them.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that's really at the heart of all this. Take a second and really think about this. What if that constant voice in your head, that internal chatter you've always assumed is you, isn't actually yours at all?
This quote from the authors really sets the stage. Now, they're not saying your pain and joy aren't real experiences. Of course they are. What they're suggesting is that the reality causing those feelings is more like a construct, a super convincing fabrication that feels totally solid when you're on the inside.
So if reality isn't this fixed, solid thing, then what is it? Well, the authors ask us to play with a powerful metaphor. What if reality is basically a highly advanced game, and the entire environment is being generated not by computer code, but by consciousness itself?
And this is the part that's absolutely crucial. If our world is generated this way, then trying to change it by just pushing things around physically is kind of like trying to change a movie by yelling at the screen. The authors argue the real power, the real leverage, is in working at the source code of reality, at the level of energy, consciousness, and imagination.
This brings us to our role in this whole game. See, most of us operate as the character, trapped inside the simulation, just reacting to whatever happens. But the goal, according to the authors, is to shift our awareness, to wake up and realize we can be the player, the one who's actually holding the controller, consciously directing the game from a bigger perspective.
Okay, but this brings up a huge question, right? If we have this incredible power to shape reality, why is the world so often filled with conflict and suffering? Well, the author's explanation for this introduces a pretty unsettling villain into our story.
Their claim is startling, to say the least. They propose that human consciousness hasn't just been misguided or confused, it's actually been hijacked. They believe there's an outside influence, a kind of mental parasite that has a very strong reason to keep us stuck as the character, completely unaware that we could ever be the player.
They give this entity a name, the dragon. But don't think of a mythical beast. Think of it more as a parasitic consciousness. And its food source? They call it louche. That's the intense emotional energy we generate in states of fear, anger, and division. So in this view, humanity is effectively being farmed for its negative emotional energy. And this quote, wow, it really gets to the heart of how deep this supposed hijacking goes. The theory isn't just about simple mind control. It's the much more radical idea that the parasite's consciousness has become our inner monologue. You know that nagging voice of doubt, fear, and self-judgment? According to the authors, that's the parasite thinking through us.
Now, I know this might all sound pretty bleak, but the author's core message is actually one of incredible empowerment. The focus isn't on going out to fight some cosmic dragon. No, it's on reclaiming the territory it occupies, your own mind.
And this right here is the key strategic move. Forget all the external battles for a second. The real revolution is internal. By changing your inner world from one of chaos to one of harmony, you basically make yourself an awful host for the parasite. You reclaim your energy, you reclaim your sovereignty.
The authors actually lay out a practical 4-step path to do this. It starts with step 1, unknow, which just means letting go of the need to mentally figure everything out. Then you move to step 2, feel, don't think, prioritizing your intuition over that constant parasitic thinking. From there, step 3 is to declare your new desired reality. And finally, in step 4, you visualize and energetically experience the ideal self that you're creating.
And here's some of the practical tools they suggest. Things like meditation to quiet the parasite's chatter and find the silence that is your true self. Using I am statements to literally overwrite its negative programming. Asking power questions to snap out of rigid thought patterns. And maybe most importantly, learning to transmit less mental noise and receive more guidance from your deeper, authentic self.
So you do all this inner work. Where does it all lead? What's the end game? Well, according to the authors, it isn't just about creating a happier life for yourself within the game. It's about completing the game entirely and doing it on your own terms.
The ripple effect here is profound. As each person takes back their own energy supply, the collective parasite gets weaker and weaker. You see, this isn't about attacking it, it's about starving it. You change your inner environment, and it simply can't survive there anymore.
And the authors draw this really fascinating line in the sand. On the one hand, you have the traditional hero's journey. It's a circle. The hero goes on an adventure and returns with a gift for their people. But they propose an ultimate hero's journey. This one is a one-way ticket. You master the game so completely that you consciously exit the entire cycle, leaving behind an energetic trail for others to follow if they choose.
So what's the big takeaway here? Honestly, whether you interpret this framework as literal truth or as a powerful metaphor, it offers a profound shift in perspective. It's a call to move from being a victim of circumstance to being the architect of your own experience. You are not a pawn, you are a creator. And that brings us to the final potent question from their conversation. Every single day, you have a choice. So look at your life, look at your thoughts, your actions, and ask yourself this. Are you consciously driving the bus, or are you just a passenger along for the ride?